Oh, hello there. Welcome to Office Hours. Today we are dealing with some slight issues here and there, but we'll persevere. We'll persevere. In the meantime, AO, Dark Red, Rosie, and Yasley, welcome to the chat. Dr. Lima, I don't know that I'm suing anyone, but I'm very interested in the rumors you've heard that assume I'm suing people. That sounds like an interesting scenario if I've ever heard one. We're dealing with a different issue right now, but if I have to deal with any extra universal lawsuits in the meantime, it would be good for me to know. In the meantime, Sentient Worm on a String, hi, hello. Scarlet Hammer, good to see you. Zerdrin, you just got home, and I just got on stream. It's perfect timing. Interloper, good to see you. By the way, for all of you who are members, thank you for being members. I'm shouting out a lot of people real quick. Yo, Gamer77 dropping in with a dono right at the top. Make sure to grab yourself a Diet Coke on your way past the commissary. I hear the theorists are talking about it, so we might want to run some experiments just in case. And Amber, good to see you. Thanks for being a member. G12, thanks for being a member. And yes, we got another stream. I just did the math. I have not looked until today, but this is our 19th day of streaming in a row. We have done 18 streams, and by far, I am running out of juice. I am working. I am building endurance, so don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm gonna be okay. Daily streams, for as long as I can do them, we're not done yet. This is day 19, baby girl, baby doll, baby boy, baby them, baby what? All the babies, we're here for office hours. Please do not tell HR I called all of you baby girl, baby doll, baby them. I do not need that heat right now because apparently I'm involved in an interdimensional lawsuit, according to someone previously in the stream. So, oh boy. Oh boy indeed. Dihydrogen monoxide, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. We need an emoji of 096's real face. Do we not have an emoji of 096? I'm actually a little shocked at that. Oh, all right, well, I need to talk to Teeth. Teeth and I have been working on some new Site42 emojis. Since our membership numbers are growing, that means we're allowed to have more emojis. That means we need more emojis. And 096 can definitely be on the list. I think that would be a very popular one to have. So, meanwhile, Robin, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a nice bottle of Irish beer on your way past the commissary. Desk, good to see you in the stream. Welcome, welcome. What are you dealing with? Infodom War Chinchilla outbreak. How are the funding issues with the O5s, and how's Iris's mental health doing? So, in order, A, we are dealing with a chinchilla outbreak on our servers. Just dropping the pretense of mimetic filters for a moment, you saw the thumbnail coming in. George the Chinchilla, SCP-3086, is loose. Thankfully, we don't live in a universe where 3086 is spread by speaking. Because if you look at the document on the wiki, that evolution was a bad idea, and I'm glad we haven't caused it yet. Curse you, researcher Evans, for ruining that planet, apparently. I'm told by researcher Yossi that they went through a GK class end of narrative scenario. And so, yes, right now, the artificial intelligence constructs are trying to clean up the database, but right now, all of our documents are being swamped by, oh, have you seen my paw? SAUL SZYSLAK? It's so annoying. It's so annoying, that jaunty little dirtbag. So, while they're cleaning that up, we're doing our best to get by. I hope all of our signals are working well. Desk, Clef is not George the Chinchilla. They are different entities. Please, you're tiring me. Also, I'm sorry about your illness. Please keep resting. Please feel better. Gamer77, thank you for donating again. And how to make an SCP on the website? Well, that's quite simple. You have to, it's not quite simple at all. This is a joke. You need to sign up for Wikidot and sign up for the SCP Wiki after signing up for Wikidot. Then you need to get your SCP idea green-lighted in the Greenlight forums on the SCP Wiki. Now, you can skip greenlighting if you know an SCP author who will vouch for you, and they will like work with you so that you don't have to do the greenlight. That is possible. It's a way around greenlighting. And then you need to write your article, and you need to get critique, which you can get from the critique forums, or if you happen to know some SCP authors, they are great places to get critique, as long as you trade critique with them / be good friends, because, you know, critiquing is the equivalent of doing editing work for like a newspaper or a magazine. And that's a paid job. So if someone's editing your article for you, you better be good friends, or you better be like trading, editing, critique back and forth, because this is a community as well as a fun website. So you gotta make friends. You gotta do all the work to build the groundwork. But from there, once you get 3 to 4 drafts of critique and you know your article's finished and enough people are saying, yeah, that looks good, post it, that's when you post it and it goes up for the vote. So that is the very streamlined version of writing an SCP for the SCP Wiki. So you can check out my video on this channel, SCP Writing Tips from SCP Writers. It is a compilation of short tips that could help out. Make sure you read the guides and the rules and the tips on the wiki proper. There's a whole page of essays that explain things about the SCP Wiki, which make it easier. You just need to dive in, read everything, learn everything. You're basically going to school, but for writing SCPs. And if you're not willing to put in that work, the likelihood you will succeed is very short, because it is a lot of work. Ollie, great question. Is greenlighting a one-time thing? So greenlighting, I guess technically, is a one-time thing, because you are supposed to do greenlight for your first SCP article idea to see if it's a good idea that should be written about. Basically, there's a rule of life that any story idea can be a good one if written competently enough. But most SCP articles are, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Listen to the music. I'm not lagging, only my brain's lagging. What was I saying? Yes, greenlighting. So greenlighting is meant for new people to get an idea about if their idea is easily written about. Because some ideas are easier to write a good story about than others. And especially if you craft your greenlight pitch very clearly, you're more likely to get a, okay, I see where you're going with that. Have fun writing it. A lot of people, you know, new writers come in and they're like, oh, I got the most super duper monster guy who's super spooky with all the horror powers. And it doesn't really get a good feel for, okay, they're going to be able to write this well, because they're just thinking in very simple concepts. That's what greenlight's for. It's just to make sure you got your head on your shoulders before you walk through the door. And once you have a successful article on the wiki, I'm pretty sure that you don't need to greenlight anymore, but I don't know the rules off the top of my head. And in fact, I will do you the favor and look at that myself real quick. I will look at SCP Greenlight and see what I find. Meanwhile, just a quick catch up. Robin and Aesthetic Zone, I have not missed you guys. I will be with you soon on those donos. Thank you very much. Cyrus, good to see you in the chat. And Dr. Scott Jones, good to see you in the chat. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, God. Give me a second to recover from some culture shock. First of all, Desk, epic gamer moment that he is incarnate. has told me that it's recommended to get 3 green lights. So before I go check that out, Desk has already got me covered. You should get your first 3 articles greenlit. And once you have 3 articles on the wiki, I believe not only do you then get an author page, because I think you get an author page at 3 articles, but then you do not need greenlight anymore. It's assumed you are capable as an SCP author. Because it's not just about being a good writer, it's also about knowing how the SCP community works. Because you can write for a magazine, but writing for the SCP Wiki is slightly different. You gotta know the ropes. No, Dr. Jones has apparently gone through a personal YouTube channel that I do not speak about very often, but I leave public just in case. And it has a music video I was featured in. And I'll have you know, Dr. Jones, that the director of that music video thought it was supposed to be a dark comedy. It was supposed to be funny that I was doing that. And then my mother saw that music video, and she was very not happy, much like you seem to have been. So that was just me acting in a music video, and I do not feel that way in real life. And oof. Yeah, oof. Okay, where was I? Back to the chat proper. Dark Red, thank you for being a member as always. Who is Saul SZYSLAK? So if you're familiar with the documentation for SCP-3086, you would know that Saul SZYSLAK is a Walt Disney competitor who did not win. And while Saul created George the Chinchilla, a competitor for Mickey Mouse, that, seems to be an all-around fine character, a jaunty teal chinchilla. Unfortunately, Saul met with a very negative and self-inflicted end. And somewhere in this emotional turmoil, we don't know exactly how, the character of George the Chinchilla came to life and is capable of infecting media that it is in contact with. Which means that if George the Chinchilla is on a piece of paper, drawn or in text form, and you touch it to another piece of paper with writing on it, then George will mold that text into an iteration of itself. And then eventually in the internet age, that means that if you write an email about George the Chinchilla and it comes to life, it can infect your whole email inbox. If you send that email, it can infect the inbox of the person you sent it to. You put it on a website, and every link becomes a pathway for George the Chinchilla to propagate. It's frustrating. It's very difficult to deal with. But all George wants to do is tell people, hey, did you hear about my daddy, Paul SZYSLAK? Wait a minute. Saul SZYSLAK. He's just the best animator who ever was, and Walt Disney wishes he was that cool. And we're not going to tell George what actually happened to his paw, Saul SZYSLAK, because we saw what happened in the universe that researcher Evans was in, and it went poorly. So, it's fine. George doesn't know what's going on here. We just need to clean up the database. There will be a reset. Make sure you save any projects that you are working on before George infects them, and the backups will be kept. Just don't save an iteration of George, because then we have to do this all again tomorrow. So be careful. All right. Robin, thank you for donating again, and I will continue to keep up with your donation questions. Thank you for giving me the grace to go off on a tangent. The Site 42 budget is still in shambles. We are working out other alternatives after the overseers have cut our funding once, and after Dr. Moon defected from Site 42 with a quarter of our anomalies. And if you didn't know, we at the Foundation, we get paid per anomaly that we're containing, because, you need the resources and you need the personnel. So that's a budget consideration. And so with a quarter of our anomalies gone, yes, we have to contain less, which lowers costs, but we also have to pay for the personnel we still have. And so I'm trying not to fire people. I don't want to lay you guys off. That's not cool. You signed up for a secret society. As you saw in today's video, we're not paid very well because as well as we are paid, which, by normal human standards, we're paid quite well. But once you take into account that we can never see our friends and family again, we're stuck with the whoever we work with at the social engagements, our options are limited, so the pay better be damn good. Retirement, that's a whole different conversation down the line. But I can't lay you guys off. You guys took an oath to the foundation, so I need to find a way to raise budget. I'm working on a merch store that we can sell SCP adjacent merch, maybe that's incognito so people can buy it and support the foundation even though that they don't know they're supporting the foundation. It's a whole thing. But we'll be fine. We'll make it work one way or another. You trust me. It's gonna be fine. And there will be more science to do. Oh, and Iris is currently fine as well as I can know. I don't see any issues with Iris and pulling us all SZYSLAK. At least not at this time. Aesthetic Zone, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a cup of holiday cheer on your way past the commissary. Would you be willing to read a sandbox SCP I wrote? So here's the deal. On the channel, I only cover SCPs that are official, because if I got into everyone's drafts, it would just take up the rest of our lives. And so that is a channel limitation that I've set, that I only cover official SCPs. And very often I do not do critique for people who send it to my email, because if I did that, I would be doing that all day instead of hanging out with you guys and working on Site 42 projects. But if you send me a sandbox link and it's not too long, I'll take a cursory glance, and I promise no more than 3 sentences of critique. That is the most I can offer. So I apologize. It's just the way it goes when you're making content about the Foundation and there's so much Foundation to cover. Interloper, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself you know what? As warm as it is outside today, have yourself an ice-cool glass of melonade on your way past the commissary. Hello, how's it going, Dr. Sherman? Is that a Germa reference? Did you just Germa me in my chat? Ugh. I'm wondering if the email number glitch is still a thing, where emails with numbers don't send confirmation for accounts. I am 99% sure that the number email glitch on Wikidot is still a thing. I have not heard about a fix. Now, that doesn't mean there hasn't been. It just means I haven't heard about it. And also, Wikidot does not get updated that often, so I doubt it's something they fixed. You'll find out on the Join the Wiki page on the SCP Wiki, because they do mention the number error. So if it's fixed, then the number error message on the rules of joining the wiki will be gone. So check it out. You let me know if you find out. You know what? I'll do you one better. I'm here. This is my office hours. I'm answering questions for you guys. I can look at the join page real quick. Join the site. Site rules. Don't be a dick. Don't vandalize. Don't roleplay. Rights usage. Staff procedures. Wiki.platform. Sandbox. Official chats. Yep, there it is. Do not use any email address with numbers in it or any Hotmail email address, as those bug. So the bug is still active. I am here for you as your favorite Site 42 SCP researcher, and we have discovered that. We have now learned together that the issue still exists. Congratulations. Gamer, thank you for donating again. Can you suggest an animation app for SCP? I can't, because I don't know exactly what you mean. An animation app for SCP? I need more details. I know of some animation channels. A lot of them are kind of lazy and I don't like them. I have a well-regarded history in that sense. But I don't know about an app for it. Duskbringer, Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a handful of red vines on your way past the commissary. Hypothetically speaking, if someone punched a hole between walls separating digital and real world, how bad would it be? Pay no mind to gigantic black-red beetle flying around Shibuya. A black-red beetle? Are you talking? No, you can't be. You can't be talking about... Oh no. Da 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 da. You cannot be talking about mother flippin' Kuwagamon. You cannot be telling me that Kuwagamon is in Shibuya right now, because I just started watching Digimon Adventures, the 1999 TV series, last night because my roommate really likes it and said, hey, let's be silly and watch a kid's cartoon from the late 90s. You can't be talking about that right now, while I literally watched that yesterday. That is too much of a coincidence. You are hurting me with your coincidence powers. My word. Either way, clean it up. We have plenty of artificial intelligence constructs that if there is a hole in the digital realm to the real world, we can have the artificial intelligences come out and handle the matter cleanly. They are better than Digimon. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. I'm going to tell my roommates about this later. They're going to be complicated. Silken Emperor, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. And also, I think I saw you become a patron earlier today. And so since you're here, thank you for becoming a Site42 patron as well. Much appreciated. Thank you for your service. What would the Foundation do if suddenly the process of making cottage would turn cottages into cheese? Well, while you grab some cottage cheese at the commissary, let me think about this for just a moment. So the process of making a cottage would turn cottages into cottage cheese. Well, what I would do is I would first dissuade the public from cottage building. I would completely use Foundation artificial intelligence constructs to destroy any reference of cottagecore on the internet. We would just make that meme non-existent. That way it would become less publicized to enjoy cottages, especially the thatchwork cottages attacked by Trogdor the Burninator. Now, once we stop people from making cottages, then we can farm cottages for cottage cheese for our own financial purposes. That could be a way to help the budget by cornering the cottage cheese market. So that actually could work to our advantage, maybe. Shadow Foe, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some fish fingers and custard on your way past the commissary. If Doctor Who was an SCP, and if they were, how would you contain him in the Foundation, or would they be allowed to roam? So, sorry, Sheeny is right, I have to do this. Trogdor! Worth it. As I was saying, contrary to what Desk has messaged me in the backgrounds, I have looked into the Pandorica lore of Doctor Who. And in the TV show, you only see one Pandorica, which, you know, it's a time box that paradoxically locks Doctor Who up so he can't time travel and get himself out of it. But it did. It being the Doctor, because the Doctor is an it, not a he. I misspoke, sorry. Anomalies don't get he or she or they pronouns. They are its. They are objects, not people. Not only did Doctor Who time travel behind the paradox to release itself from the Pandorica, using all sorts of smarmy stuff with the Rory and all that, but in the audio stories, Doctor Who escaped a second Pandorica. A second Pandorica! Are you kidding me? That is impossible, it is stupid, and it's not legal. And so, I'm mad about it. We have a short, it's on the TikTok, about containing Doctor Who. You can see Doctor Who dancing behind me as I am mocked for my efforts to contain that son of a bitch. But we'll get that bastard eventually. Oh, we'll get that bastard. I don't care. I don't care if it's friendly with UNIT. It needs to be tied down. Well, fine, says Desk. And I know, I understand the pain as well. I was very upset. Silken Emperor, thank you for donating again. Making cottage cheese, causing the nearest cottage to turn to cheese. Okay, thank you for donating again for that clarification, although I did, I guess basically got it. And you said the cottages would be made out of cheddar in your next donation, which I thank you for, and well, that ain't right. What do you mean building a cottage turns it into cheddar cheese? Why wouldn't it turn into cottage cheese? That's just appropriate. I hate it when my anomalies are not narratively copacetic. It is unfair. Okay, deep breath. Getting hit with Doctor Who and cheddar cheese cottages, 2 in a row. We're fine. We're fine. Okay. Kylie, you're a big fan who loves SCP-999, and can I make more videos about it? I think I can find a way to work 999 into more videos for you. I need to organize my schedule to get shorts back in line, and we got to make sure what the TikTok ban is all about, because that could cause problems in our production lineup. But we'll work it out as we go. And 999 is a, Site 42 favorite, so the little goo guy will be around. Trust me on that. Gamer, thank you for donating again. An app to make animations. Also, I really like The Cabin in the Woods. Well, The Cabin in the Woods is a great, basically, SCP movie. And more people should enjoy it and see it because it is a fantastic classic of anomalous cinema. Meanwhile, I don't know anything about animation apps, unfortunately, so I can't help you. I am unfamiliar with that world, and I don't know a lot of animators, unfortunately. In fact, our good friends, the SC Peeps, who are making that one show, The Offshoot, have seemed to stop production for a while, which I find frustrating. So I hope they're okay, and I hope that maybe I can talk to them and help them out with their process. Hazamaisa SCP Researcher ? Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some ramen on your way past the commissary. How do you think the Foundation would interact with the NOL of the Blaze Blue franchise? Alternatively, would you employ the Nox Nictoris, also Blaze Blue? So I do not know anything about Blaze Blue. So let me take a small looky at Blaze Blue, and it was NOL. Let's see what it says in the database. Novus Orbis Librarium. How dramatic. The Null was created when the Mages Guild merged with the Orbis Librarius Norma. It was created to regulate the various grimoires, Ars Magus, Ars Armagus, and Nox Nictoris, which were created during the era. It merged with the Magic Guild, with the leading houses of the Zeroth magical city of Ishana becoming the Duodecim. Okay, so this is a society of some sort. And this society of some sort. So here's the thing. When it is a group like this, we cannot clearly contain them as an anomaly. It's just too vast. So we know that it's a GOI rather than an anomaly. What is their deal? What is their mission statement? Descriptions. That controls the present world. Jin and Noel used to be among its members. They're called the Library. Oh, well, I have a sitting hazardous relationship with a certain library full of snakes. But enough about them. Imperial Guard, Air Force. So they are like essentially a world government. So my first thought is that a group of interest like this that's a world government, we would end up essentially working under their nose. We would not let them know that we exist if we could help it. Now, the GOC and the UIU, they do end up knowing about us as the foundation, but we don't cooperate very often. And in fact, it's more important to us that we get to work away from them. And so, with that, we'd probably just work separately of them and only team up if we have to. Meanwhile, the, what was that? Nox Nictoris set of 11 weapons that are considered the ultimate form of Arms Armagus. The majority of them were created by 9 the Phantom. And they are, as this thing said, in possession of... It regulates those things. So, they are anomalies in the possession of a group of interests. So, unfortunately, we wouldn't have a lot to do with it because they're currently being contained by another group. Now, as long as they're not breaching secrecy, I guess we'd be fine, although it seems like magic is more okay in this world, which means certain kinds of magic would not be considered anomalous by us because they are normal in that universe. Instead, we would contain anomalies that were unusual for that franchise. I have a question. Are any SCPs gay? There's a bunch of SCPs and Foundation staff that are gay in one way or another. I am, in fact, fall on the A section of the LGBTQIA as an asexual person, which is why I'm so annoyed constantly by you people trying to fraternize with anomalies. Not all of you, but the ones who are, you know what you are. And so, yes, there's a lot of L's, B's, G's, T's, and so on and so forth in the community. It is just a fact of life. They exist. They're here, they're queer, we're not mad about it. That is one of the things that is not anomalous. The magic and the statues that move and all that, that's anomalous. That's what we care about containing. Interloper, thank you for donating again. Would the Foundation contain the silence from Doctor Who? Well, thank you for donating again, and I believe we would. Because it is an anomalous thing. Now, it's anti-memetic, which means that we'd have to have the anti-memetics division on it. If we had an anti-memetics division, which last I heard, there is no anti-memetics division. So we'd have to start one to make that happen. But they would definitely be on the list of things to be contained if we could remember that they need to be contained. Poke, thank you for 5 Site42 memberships to the chat donated. Make sure, if you receive a gift membership from Poke, that you say thank you for those memberships. Wonderful. Amber, I forgot about what? Jack, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Hope that you grab a delicious papaya on your way past the commissary, and sorry you got desked. You got to watch out for the chat rules, otherwise you get desked. The hammer of the desk is mighty. Silken Emperor, thank you for donating again. Last question before you leave. Can you do a reaction to Rubik's Raptor Arma 3 SCP videos? I have not heard of any of those words. This is news to me, so I'm going to go open a tab and see what I find. Arma 3 SCP. What is this?
The following is a message composed by a consensus of the O5 Council. For those who are not currently aware of our existence, we represent the organization known as the SCP Foundation. Our previous mission centered around the containment and study of anomalous objects.
So I found a 5,000 video on them. Yep, okay. So these are... Okay, these are in-game videos essentially acting out an SCP Foundation scenario. Interesting. Well, I'm not familiar, but seems like a popular channel and popular videos. I should at least take a look and see what they're up to and see if they're portraying the Foundation in a light I would appreciate. So, yeah, let me keep that tab open for later. Thank you for the tip. It's good for me to check out other creators who are doing things in the SCP space, whether they are SCP creators or non-SCP creators stepping a toe into our community. Always nice to say hello. Your Pal Mystery. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a daiquiri on your way past the commissary. Non-alcoholic if you're still on shift. Aren't calling SCPs it, even if they aren't what non-faculty people would call an object, a little degrading? Now listen. Listen here. We contain anomalous humanoids in what is basically War Crime City. The way we contain these people would make the war crimes of various countries laughable in comparison. And when you're doing that, people tend to think about the humanity, the non-existent, thank you, humanity of the entities that we contain. And no matter how many benefits we give them, no matter how many social times and entertainment and enrichment and wonderful foods, people are still going to be bad about being imprisoned for life. And so you need your staff to see these entities as less than human so that they don't think about their humanity and consider releasing them. We do a hard job, and we do it for the benefit of all of humanity. So if a couple anomalous entities have to be contained for life, then that's just the way it is. We die in the dark so that humanity can live in the light. And if you think that's a problem and you don't like it that way, you can go join the Global Occult Coalition or the Serpent's Hand or those other SCP group of interest hippies who don't believe in our methods. Out of character, I agree it's degrading, and that's part of why the SCP Foundation is not necessarily the good guys in our universe. Amber Chaos. Harry Dresden was an SCP. How would the Foundation contain it? I love that series. You know I love that series. Also, we know the manacles stop wizards from casting. We know the manacles plus running water dropping over their heads like water torture completely locks them down. So they've already taught us how to contain Harry Dresden. We just need to make sure we catch him unaware. Catch it unaware, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Sawyer, what if SCP-3008-1 encountered SCP-173? Would they stop the peanut in its tracks, or would the peanut go sicko mode on them? So here's the thing, number one. Most 3008-2s, I believe they are. I don't think they're -1s. I think they're -2s, actually. Let me double check myself. I often make a mistake with this number, so I always have to double check myself on the -2s. Yes, they are -2s. 3008-1 is the Infinite IKEA. 3008-2 is the entities. To my belief, they don't have eyeballs. And because they don't have eyeballs, no facial features. So yes, I believe 173 is going to go super sicko mode on them. But here's the problem. The 3008-2s don't have bones. They're made of like solid plastic, like mannequins or something like that. Living past plastic, but so there's no neck to break. Although I guess the heads pop off. So yeah, I'd be interested in seeing it for funsies. Could be fun. Ba-da-da-da. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Where was I? Aesthetic Zone, thank you for donating again. If you don't end up looking at the SCP, it's okay, but I still want to support the stream with another dono. If you are willing, I can send it. Where can I send it? Oh, you can grab my business email from the support link in the description. and that's where you can send that to. As I said, I can't promise a deep look, but I can take a peek. I can take a peek. Bro, what? Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some juice on your way past the commissary. Why no hair on new videos, but on live you do? I guess you mean the goatee? So it depends on what video you see in what timeline and what universe. Sometimes there is a dilation effect. What videos you see may be affected by where your universe is in the Foundation timelines and the canons. So sometimes appearances may alter. And for everyone who says I need a haircut, I'm getting a haircut on Thursday. Okay? We only have one barber on site. It takes time to get an appointment. Thank you. Interloper, thank you for donating again. Would the Foundation try to contain AVZIC? Once again, I don't know what an AFZIC is. Will I find that if I Google just 4 letters? AFZIC, ASFIC. Was it ASVIC? AFZK is what you said, but what I'm getting is AZFK. But it seems to be a thing, and so I'm assuming you mean something about the back rooms as FIC. I have no idea what this is. Is a character of the YouTube channel also titled as FIC, along with his pet named Amoeba. Weird eyeball dude. Any abilities? I don't see any powers. There we go. Liquid Mimicry. Turn into a liquid-like form. Bio-shifting. Was able to transform his arm into some sort of cannon blaster. Intangibility. Walk through a wall. Well, if it can go intangible, it's very simple. We have to use a reality anchor and or a medically induced coma, because something that can walk through walls needs the big guns if it's going to be contained. So that's pretty simple. That's pretty straightforward. Your pal Mystery, thank you for donating again. Your humanityless shtick is why there were dragons. Listen, our policies work for 99% of containments. Just because one anomaly got neutralized doesn't mean anything. We contain over 9,000 SCPs. Over 9,000! So you know, and that's just in the English language. When you go to the other branches of other national languages, there's more anomalies. So the fact that less than 1% of anomalies are neutralized means that our policies work. Nothing is perfect, but enough is functional. So don't worry about that. Aesthetic Zone, thank you for donating again, and I'll check it out, and I'll send you an email response after stream. What would happen if we put SCP-096 in the Sun launcher? Well, Killahuggy, we have, in fact, sent SCP-096 into the Sun in the past. Not in our universe, thankfully, because when 096 landed in the Sun in that universe, our, what's the word I'm looking for? Our systems, our signals, our notifications, our sensors told us that, in fact, the Sun began moving towards the planet. Not that Earth's orbit had degraded and that we were sinking into the Sun. No. It was that the Sun was actively moving towards Earth. So, I guess 096 is fine, and that planet is doomed. So, glad it's not us. Drowsy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some Empanadas on your way past the commissary. I'm here late. What dragons? Oh, someone was using 1762, here were dragons, as a knock against our dehumanization policy toward anomalies. And I told them that's silly Billy stuff and they don't need to worry about that. It's a rare situation, so no big deal. No big deal. Dr. Sherman just put a nervous system inside SCP-4521 so it can feel. Tack. Tack. We know it can feel. It is feeling just fine. We know the tree's nervous system is already intact. Remember, real trees can scream in real life. That's not made up junk science. That's not a science fiction website. That's real life. When you break a tree branch, the tree screams. When you mow your lawn, the grass screams. We know this to be a fact. We can't hear it, but we can measure the frequencies. And so, the tree can feel, we know that much. It's just the screaming we have to fix. And we will. We will fix that tree. Cerberus, thank you for being a member. How strong is 169 compared to 069? 069 and 169? 069 is the one that can mimic dead people near it, right? 069 mimics dead people near it. So technically, it's not necessarily strong. It is simply able to transform into regular human people. 169, on the other hand, the Leviathan? A marine arthropod of enormous size known as the Leviathan by generations of sailors and oral history. I have a feeling, just by basic document read, that 169 is stronger than 069. I think a sea Leviathan is more powerful than a dude who can transform into other dudes. I think that's pretty clear. Drowsy, thank you for donating again. Do I use my pinky when pen spinning? So this is how I use my pinky when pen spinning. It catches on that edge and comes back up. So I don't go around the outside of the pinky because there's no finger to catch it out here. If I had 6 fingers, like a certain researcher in the Pacific Northwest, I would be able to spin on the outside, on the outside, on the outside. But that is not how my hand is shaped, so that doesn't exactly work. But I am still grabbing it with my pinky finger to bring it around. So my pinky finger is in fact used in the pen spin. Is there a timeline where SCP-001, where daybreaks, destroyed the entire planet? Well, the one true, I am pretty sure that the SCP-001 article, When Daybreaks, is the universe where When Daybreaks destroyed the world. I mean, what was it? Something like 95% of the human population died in the first wave? Gotta scroll all the way down. Gotta not die from the mimetic kill agent. They put these in random order because it's so fun now. Ha ha. The one time I look at the page to look up When Day Breaks, it's literally the last article on the randomization. Rude. Rude. So, let's go down the line, see what we can find. Resulting in approximately 6.8 billion casualties within the first 24 hours. So, 6.8 billion casualties out of, at time of attack, when daybreaks happen? It happened revision 3 of 12, updated 13/12. Did Shaggy make that ACAB on purpose? Does anyone know if Shaggy made that ACAB days ago on purpose? Because it is ACAB days ago. And I don't put it past Shaggy for doing ACAB days ago. That's funny. So, is it days ago from now? Is there a date? Is it supposed to be just it's the day of? After an event on date lost. Okay, so the date is lost, meaning that we're supposed to assume, let's, for the sake of argument, just assume that daybreaks happen today, as in we're reading it. That would mean 1,312 days ago on today. What is today minus 1312 days? September 24th, 2021. And my next question becomes population of Earth. So the population of Earth was around 7.95 billion people, which means about 6 out of 7 people were murked. So that's a pretty big not survival rate. I would consider that the end of the world, just me. It doesn't matter if there's some people left. I still think that's a significant enough problem for end of world status. But I don't know, maybe you disagree with me. Let me know if you think 6.8 billion of 7.95 billion, if that's the end of the world or not. Also, congratulations, Site42 chat. You have made the likes higher than the viewers. Keep hitting that like button so it keeps going that way, but congratulations. Coming back to the chat. Poke, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a... Let's go with a rack of ribs on your way past the commissary. Hey, I don't think you caught this when I asked on the 420-J stream. Why not give the tree some 420-J laced with 035's sludge to make it scream? Oh, man. You kind of messed up, ain't you? Ooh! Wow! That is absolutely diabolical. Wait a minute. You know what, though? We would need the tree to inhale, which means we would need to create a borehole on either side that we can form the apparatus with which to pull the smoke. And would the sludge affect the smoke? I guess you can filter things through liquid, so you can filter smoke through sludge, maybe? It might be too thick, but hey, it sounds crazy enough to work. I'm interested. Okay. Maybe you deserve a promotion for your thinking outside the box here, or thinking inside the box, since we think about containment boxes. Drowsy. Boil the sludge. Interesting. See, this is the kind of one-upsmanship we like here at the Foundation. Just take an idea and run with it. This is why you Foundation researchers get paid the big bucks. You don't get to go anywhere with it, but you get it. Hey, Dr. Sherman, question. Does the SCP Foundation have an archivist department? Of course, Fableshine. Of course we have an archival department. In fact, before I was site director, I used to work in archival. I was the dictator, not as in I run things, but as in I actually dictated text documents into audio, which you see as the podcast episodes on the Site 42 channel. I still do it from time to time. It's not the most important job or the most, definitely doesn't pay the best of all the gigs we do here at the Foundation. But I find the audio logs nice to make, nice to listen to. You can listen to them on the go instead of poring over a document. If you have visual impairment or reading issues in general, then you can just listen to them and it's a lot easier. So I find it just a nice thing to do. So I still to this day do some archival work just as a hobby. Jelly, you're asking if Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls would win against 096. Well, thank you for being a member, first and foremost. And you see, Bill's reality changing is just, I think, a little too powerful. I think 096 does have some conceptual barriers at the highest heights of its power in certain canons. But I do believe that at the end of the day, Bill can just teleport 096 on the other side of the planet and just keep doing that every time 096 is within a decent range. So you just snap your fingers, make 096 go away again, or just trap it in another dimension. It'll eventually get back, but that takes time. And by the time it's back, you can just do it again. Especially with how hard Bill is to destroy, I don't think 096 could get a kill shot quick enough before being teleported across the planet or through another plane of existence yet again. So I do believe that 096 cannot take Bill Cipher in that way. Most likely. I see I've piqued your interest on the events of Gravity Falls today, everyone. Omega asks, wait, would the Pines be considered a group of interest? Because Ford studied anomalies, Stanford built a portal, and the Mystery Twins fought them, basically contained them. So the way I see it working is I see Gravity Falls being an area as an SCP. It is an anomalous area, and there are multiple people of interest inside of Gravity Falls. Now, I think the Pines Twins would be people, not group, because there's only two of them. Even if you count the Pines family, I don't think it's a big enough group. The memory eraser guys, that's a group of interest. And then you have the Time Police as a group of interest. So there's a lot of different, I guess you could call the Pines family or the Mystery Shack crew a group of interest if you want to squint. But I don't think they're quite as big as the other groups in that show and desk. Yes, you do need to watch Gravity Falls. It is a brilliant show. It's a hell of a watch. Great humor, great mysteries, blink and you miss it moments all the time. I only wish I had seen it while it was airing, so that as much as the pain of the erratic schedule happened, I would enjoy the mystery solving in the moment that I didn't get to do. Hello, sir, from the Venetian government. What do you guys need? We've already handled that problem you had last week. Use SCP-420-J on SCP-173. Channel of Victor. 173 is a statue. It doesn't have lungs. It's not going to help. Are there any GOIs that believe in human extinction as a better choice? Well, Spooky, thank you for being a member. And I believe as many group of interest as there are, I could easily say that both the Church of the Broken God and the Sarkics, or if you want to be politically correct, the Nalkins, both would not mind if humanity was obliterated and subsumed into their way of life. I believe that Anderson Robotics and Prometheus Labs might want to upgrade humanity in a way that makes them less human. The Children of the Scarlet King, Desk is correct, definitely want the death of humanity. That is easily clear. But other than that, I don't think anyone specifically wants to pull a bending Rodriguez and kill all humans, baby. Alrighty. Poke, you're saying the testing log for 420-J shows that it did work on the statue? I haven't read in a while, but that surprises me. Not that it might not have changed since the last time I looked at it. That's a big problem with being into SCP lore, is sometimes articles are just changed, and you never know it until you look at it later, and you have to self-ungaslight that something's happened. Big lizard thing. Josie. Iris. Abel. No, test 5 on this says that why would we give the statue some? Because he's like already stoned. Stoner humor. And so yeah, we didn't do that test in this log is what I'm seeing. Oh, the extended log. Oh God. Did you really? Please don't have really. No. Dude with the arm. Do 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 do. Ha! They gave it to the alien that's racist against humans. That's funny. Yep, they did not give it to the statue. And so I'm glad to have clarified that because, again, it's a statue. Would a lightsaber kill SCP-173? Well, Carolyn, I gotta believe that, I mean, it's just a statue made of concrete and rebar. It's anomalous, but it's not anomalously durable. Part of the reason we gotta contain it is because it could, in fact, just be destroyed and we couldn't test it anymore. It is, after all, just a statue. So, I believe a lightsaber would easily cut through 173. I just don't want to do that. Spooky. Not only have I seen the spider variant of SCP-173, and by the way, I hate spiders in general, so we do not need a spider variant. Thank you. I hate that for all of us. But it's not linked on the original 173 article. So what you want to do is you want to go to the Google version of the SCP database and type SCP-173 gallery, I believe. And it'll take you to the SCP-173 Design Collab Hub. The SCP-173 Redesign Collab Hub. And the Redesign Collab Hub is so many designs of SCP-173. And they're wicked. They are wicked cool. Made by artists from all across the internet when we invited them to do that. And so you got to go take a look at that if you enjoy yourself some alternate universe concrete statues that snap your neck if you look at them. Spider Moon, Spider Moon, I'm not dealing with Spider Moon. Good choice, Channel of Victor. I very much approve of your philosophy. Is there an SCP-69? Yes, Bentley, there is an SCP-69. In fact, we talked about it earlier on the stream today, coincidentally. Not that you were maybe not here, so it's okay, no big deal. But the thing is, SCP-420 and SCP-69, the meme numbers, they're not nearly as funny as everyone would think they would be. SCP-420 is just a bottle of whiskey that if you drink it, it gives you anomalous skin cancer that messes you up real bad. Meanwhile, the SCP-69 is just a human who anomalously transforms into the form of a dead person that is near him. So now it believes that it is this dead person and it tries to fulfill their last wishes, sort of. If in case they died tragically, it tries to do their last will and testament and help their families move on. Which is nice, but it's not a hee nice in the way that you guys all want it to be. Wade Wilson branded whiskey. That's right, Drowsy. That's what it is. I found 420 to be funny. It's a reference to weed being safer than alcohol. Is that what it is, Poke? Is that what it is? Yeah, SCP-666, the devil's number, is just a yurt that abuses you if you have an addiction that you're not dealing with. It'll cure your addiction if you're willing, but if you're not willing to work on your addiction, it just beats the hell out of you. So yeah, I guess in the Foundation verse, the devil is just a nice dude who wants to kick your ass if you're a drunk or something. Excuse me, Dr. Sherman, besides inanimate objects, what do you think would be immune to 096? I've always been curious. Well, blind people. If they're legally blind, it might not work because legally blind allows some sight. But if you're full-on blind, then yeah, 096, you can't see its face, so it won't come after you. Unless you get some really, really good braille, and then you feel 096's face or something like that. I don't know how that works. Lonely Boy. Have you heard of 2719? It is kind of confusing if you don't understand what it's actually doing. Yes, I remember I was around community when Inside came to be. And Inside was always a headache for people to understand. SCP-2719, if you understand it on the first reading, you get a cookie. Oh, Dog Boy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a treat on your way past the commissary. Transmission from site, information lost. So, SCP-008 is spreading very quickly over the site I'm at. It somehow got into the food. Please help. I don't feel good. Oh, that person's gone. Zombie plague in the food? That is a bad day. We will try to send people to that site once we decipher which site this came from, but zombie plague's pretty hard to shut down. I think this is, in fact, a nine-tailed fox situation. Virus. Dr. Sherman, I might draw you as a cookie run kingdom style. I am not familiar with that, but I will be looking at my Twitter threads and Blue Sky account in case you tag me as a cookie. I hope that the cookie version of me is not going to cause problems for the cookie version of the Foundation. Hunter Phil, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a delicious tossed salad and scrambled eggs on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, are you sure you don't have any anomalous properties? Previous recordings give leaning to you possibly having some. Hunter Phil. Hunter Phil. That is highly classified, and I will not be answering any questions as to whether or not I have some sort of anomalous ability or not. It is not important for you to know, and therefore I will not be disclosing said things you don't need to know. Hello, Site Director Dr. Sherman. Have you ever met SCP-SB-980 before? If so, how did it go? Asking for curiosity. Oh, SB is a very fine and well-behaved anomaly, thankfully. We've left that to Dr. Blue for mostly researching purposes, but yeah, overall, pretty chill anomaly. I wish more anomalies were as relaxing as that one, even if it does look a little bit creepy. What's going on? I'm a little bit late. Well, Chaos 487, as you can see from our thumbnail, we're currently cleaning up a breach of SCP-3086, known as George the Chinchilla. And while it pipes on and on about its paw, Saul SZYSLAK, best animation artist in all the world, better than Walt Disney, who's so darn jealous of my paw Saul, it's annoying. Don't worry about it. The AI are going to get it cleaned up soon. Desk. If there was an SCP you could rewrite to tell your own story, what SCP would you choose? So not one of mine, just any SCP. Interesting. There's so many SCPs, and so many of them are so good, so I'm trying to think of what I would change. I will think about this and get back to it. It's going to take some time. That's a big, tall order you're asking there. Dr. Sherman, why'd you teach SCP-999 how to use a gun? I think the reasoning for that is very obvious. At the time I made that decision, there was a wave of SCP-999 abuse for lulz and giggles. Everyone was, oh, I put SCP-999 in a blender. That's so funny. And yes, 999 was fine, but it's mean. And there's no reason to pick on a child like that. And so I decided 999 needed to know how to defend itself. It's that easy. Did you know the slime could hold a gun? I didn't know that, but it can. And it's been super effective against people picking on it. So when you get the choice with SCP-999 to pick on or don't pick on, I hope you make the right choice. Quick question. What's the difference between an anomaly and just a strange little guy? Well, an anomaly is going to break the rules and norms of consensus reality, and therefore will have some sort of power or ability that does not conform to that of other human beings. I'm going to guess we're talking about humans. Whereas a weird little guy is just kind of a weird little guy. And if the weird little guy can do nothing more special than any other person, but just is a weird guy, well, you got your answer right there. Do SCPs have genders? Yes, but we ignore them. Because remember, SCPs are objects, not people. Even if it is an anomalous human, it is an object. Meaning, we refer to it with the pronouns it. No other pronouns. What is the line between an anomaly and a thaumaturge then? So, technically speaking, that's a great question actually. So, a thaumaturge is a normal human, typically anyways, if we're talking about normal humans here, a normal human with anomalous knowledge. Any person can learn thaumaturgy. It's not a skill that's like latent in a person. You know, some people grow up young with, in a culture where music and dance is a popular thing. And so you might say, oh, they've had rhythm since they were born. And that's because they grew up immersed in it. And so if they grew up in a different place where music never existed, they wouldn't have rhythm. It's not a natural talent. It is a learned skill through time and exposure. So thaumaturgy is the same thing. You can learn how to cast spells if you know the proper incantations and sigils and hand motions and kinetoglyphs. So an anomalous person is inherently anomalous, where a thaumaturge is someone who has learned anomalous information. Great question. Love that. You're really thinking. I appreciate that. That's what these office hours are for. Julian, where do you get these SCP answers from? I have been working at the Foundation for the better part of 12 years. And so, while you can never learn all the SCPs because there's thousands, I have been exposed to a lot of anomalous information, and my job here as site director is to hold these office hours so you guys can voice your concerns about the site, ask about improvements, or get educated for furthering your career here at the Foundation. So, that's what we do. And honestly, Desk is right. It is from so much reading. Bum, bum, bum. Dr. Sherman, if we got our hands on an SCP of our interest, would you be pestering us to hand them over to you? Well, listen. The best people equipped to contain and research anomalies, that's us. So if you've got something, it's in your best interest to hand it over. Do you want to spend your government resources containing that thing? Do you want to be at risk when it breaks out and causes havoc? No. You want us to handle that because we're better at handling that. That's why you depend on the Foundation. Who wins, the SCP verse or Simone from Gurren Lagann? The movie, so STTGL is included, and the indomitable human spirit. So, I have not seen the movies, unfortunately. I've only seen the main series. And, I mean, first of all, Lord Genome's plot is basically the Foundation anyways. And seeing as Simone and the team did defeat Lord Genome, I would imagine that we would not stand a chance in the face of such awe-inspiring reality bending. Because remember, that is what Gurren Lagann is built on. The human spirit is powerful enough to bend reality. Not just reality benders. Just if a person has strong enough belief, that is a universe that I want no part of. That sounds bananas. That sounds like too much to deal with. Desk, why did you share my own audio log of SCP-3086 with me? What is this doing here? Did someone ask about it and I don't know about it? Could SCP-999 be unable to undergo mitosis due to the food it's eating? Well, I've never seen anything like that in 999's repertoire, but it's still a growing boy, so we'll see. Dr. Sherman, how many staff members have you lost in the last year? You know, that's a hard subject. Let me pull up the audits. No, that's not right. So if I go to the staff list and I look at our staff, which is currently over 1,024,162 staff members for Site 42. It looks like over the course of the year proper, starting in January of 2025, we lost 27 members of staff. So, you know, barely a percentage of a percentage. So, no problems there. Ah, yes, Desk, I see what you're doing. That's just a free promo for our official recording of SCP-3086, Death of the Author, etc., aka the one with George the Chinchilla. Obviously, I wrote that article and submitted it as my first SCP to the wiki. And on that front, you can check it out, the official recording of it here on the channel. Back from what, 2018? Pause it before it plays. 7 years ago, 2018. Yep. Wow. Been at this too long, man. And yet, we're not done yet. Logan the Bulf, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a raw bone on your way past the commissary. What happens if the hard-to-destroy reptile ate one of Miss Sweetie's candies? I don't exactly remember what Miss Sweetie's candies do, so I'm going to look it up real quick. It was what, 2396? Yep, Miss Sweetie. So as a reminder, food item identified as containing sugar. When denied sugar, undergoes great pain. Any male individual coming within 50 yards of her expresses a strong desire to leave and reorient their position as far from her as possible. Direct contact, diabetic coma. I mean, this is just direct contact with her. Small objects, assorted candy. Instances appear anywhere within a 6-kilometer radius. If men eat them, then they transform into a 2396-B. And as far as we know, the reptile does not have any sort of gender, which means as a non-binary entity, it would be immune to said candy. So that would not be a problem for that anomaly. So, hey, an easy question. Thank you very much. BCT Edits and Dustin Kaufman, thank you for becoming subscribers here at Site 42. Welcome to our staff. Hunter Phil, thank you for donating again. Hey, Dr. Sherman, we got a package for you in receiving, but when we went to check it, police sirens and lights started blaring out of when it opened. What do you suggest we do with the package? First of all, close it. Second of all, put it in a containment locker. It must be some sort of either prank or tracking for the USPS. I don't know if you know this, but the USPS has its own anomalous branch, similar to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Unusual Incidents Unit. And so the USPS, we do not want to mess with them. They are a bit hardcore. I have a short video log about that somewhere in our archive. Oh boy, we do not want to deal with their boxes right now. We have our own boxes to deal with. Just put it away, we'll disable it, we'll get the job done. Oh, horrible. Hey, Dr. Sherman, would the Red Hulk from Captain America movie win against 096? Hulks tend to get super universal level, but my best guess is that the Red Hulk is not of the same caliber as a Green Hulk. So I'm going to give it to 096 on the first bet, and we'd have to think harder about the Green Hulk. I'm literally putting no research into that. I am just guessing. What was the first SCP? Well, Julian, the first SCP discovered in this universe was SCP-173, the statue. Basically, because that's the first SCP that was ever written. But, of course, in most canons, SCP-001 would be the first SCP. That's why it's labeled number 1. But there are multiple iterations of SCP-001 for various reasons on the wiki, and so we deal with that as it may. What is that? Victor, you're saying Dogboy's predicament is a Beta 7 situation? What is on the Mobile Task Force list? Beta 7. The Maz Hatters specialize in the acquisition and containment of anomalies exhibiting extreme biological, chemical, or radiological hazards. So a zombie virus would fit the Maz Hatters. You are correct. But since we're being specific, just let me double check 008 itself. And does it have an MTF or a stationary task force involved? If I do F, nope. Okay, so there is no assigned task force to 008 proper. So you're probably, I'm going to go with, yeah, Beta 7 would probably be a good choice there. Desk is pointing out to me with some more research that Hulk abilities for the red one has a heat ability due to radiation. But on the taking more damage, we know that 096 can move the sun. So the strength and damage output is probably both on the side of 096 in that range. But again, this is a cursory glance. I need to do a deep dive on Hulk physiology. Robin, thank you for donating again. Joint USPS UIU police box to Site 42's front door. Happy surprise visit. Thereafter, your local reality sync Clef. That is a terrifying sentence. I am not worried about the UIU part, by the way. That's not worrying me at all. But the USPS is scary. And if they're going after Clef, I need to verify a couple things behind the scenes that... I mean, I don't think Clef is going to defect or anything. I just think a matter of surprise capture would be not beneficial for us or them. But why is everybody asking about 096? Dog Eater? I don't know, man. Some anomalies are just more popular. People got lots of questions. It's a whole thing. We just roll with the punches here at Office Hours. I am here to answer your SCP questions. And if most of them are about anomalies we've always talked about on repeat, there's only so much I can do. I would love to talk about other anomalies, but I just need questions that are not, that. Clef having beef with the USPS is also mildly funny. I agree, Sheeny. I think that would be hilarious. / is hilarious. Baked Wizard, welcome to Site 42 subscribership. Thank you for joining our staff. Dr. Sherman, why do people keep sexualizing the anomalies? Luis. I wish I could say I don't know. I wish I could say I don't know. But it's because they grew up with problems in their lives and they didn't go to therapy and they became attracted to beings that go bump in the night. You can call them monster fuckers. You can call them demon daters. The point of the issue is these people like creeps. These people like weirdos. And what the hell are they doing here, working at the Foundation? It's because it's really hard to hire people to work at the Foundation. And for some reason, the best of the best of the best are either furries or demon daters. Or both. So we got to do what we got to do and keep things contained and beat these staff members off with a stick to keep them away from the anomalies. I heard what I said. Ignore it. Clef is offering to go willingly with the USPS UI useless and glean some information. So, and then to make their life hell when he leaves. And you know, let's talk about an infiltration. I don't know that it's necessary, but I mean, I'd rather that than Clef get bored, so could be fun. Robin St. Pierre, thank you for donating again. 729 dash. Oh! Why? Why? Robin. Ugh. Ugh. Fine. If that's what you need for me to educate you, I will warn you guys about the worst frickin' thing we have in containment. SCP 729 Dish. I'm okay. I'm okay. Titled Peep Peep Motherfucker. SCP 729 Dish. J. Object class Keter. No, sorry. It's been changed to Thaumiel. Guys, you're hurting his feelings. He's just trying to help. Screw you in the footnotes. Yeah, I agree with Guy too. Maybe it should be Apollyon Plus as its object class. Apollyon Plus. It is supposed to be a toy. It is supposed to be a toy. But we all want to know what sick fuck decided that this thing was appropriate for children. We have introduced it to multiple anomalies. And when SCP-106 the old man, Radical Larry, was introduced to this abomination. SCP-106 began moving backwards from the researcher it was trying to murk, without ever breaking eye contact with the entity. And when it reached the end of the hall, it rematerialized back into its own containment cell. The entire time backing away, it was given the good old double deuce to that monstrous thing. And it was right to do so. We all agree it is perfectly understandable why Radical Larry reacted like that. And in fact, several researchers who witnessed this interaction between 106 and that thing ended up huddled in 106's cell, crying and weeping along with 106, because they all together knew that thing is messed up. We introduced it to 2006, Too Spooky for You. We introduced it to 1322, A Wormhole to Another Society. We introduced it to 303, 3000. We introduced it to an anomaly I didn't even know we existed, called SCP-055. We have a 055? Effects. Dr. Hessen walked into the containment chamber of 055 holding 729- holding the thing. And when Hessen walked in there, 5 minutes later, the containment chamber opened and a calico cat ran into Dr. Hessen's office. And apparently that's how we found out what 055 is, a calico cat that we nicknamed Puddin'. I don't know, man. It's a world. So yes, multiple anomalies of varying levels of horror and abomination and world-endingness all agree that this thing is the worst thing and that it shouldn't exist. And just because you asked so much, I'm going to show it to you. That's right. You're going to get to look at it, because if I'm going to be this sick, you're going to be this sick. Look at it. Look at it. Is this what you asked for? Get that thing off of my screen. Disgusting. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Who was it? It was Robin, wasn't it? Robin did this to me. I won't forget, Robin. I won't forget. Nix, thank you for your first donation to the stream, which is not talking about a horrible piece of crime against humanity. Make sure to grab yourself a Cadbury cream egg on your way past the commissary. Pardon. After Effects. Hi, Dr. Sherman. A small hypothetical for my own research portfolio. I'll be applying shortly for junior researcher. The Sparta twins, Dante and Virgil. Thaumiel or Archon? I'm assuming that this is a reference to a set of entities I know from a title called Devil May Cry, right? Sons of Sparta, a legendary demon knight. Yes, indeed. Okay, so both the twins have comparable abilities, if I remember correctly. It's essentially an able situation, except they don't have a box they respawn from as much. Have they ever been trapped in any sort of method? That's the first thing I would want to know, is if they've been contained in their own universe before we have to deal with them. That's a Virgil, and that's a Dante. Well, it's a lot to dive through. It would take me a little bit to research this, but what I would believe mostly is a similar situation to Abel, in that we'd have to spend more time trying to damage them and contain them. We wouldn't have the luck that we could destroy them and have them respawn from a box, meaning we need to basically SCP-682 them. Because if I remember correctly, their endurance is pretty through the roof. Biography, blah, 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 blah. Personality, appearance, powers, and abilities. Superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman agility, superhuman stamina, superhuman durability. Accelerated healing, demonic power manipulation. Telekinesis. I'm sorry. Rude. Hand-to-hand combat skills, weapon proficiency, swordsmanship, marksmanship, keen intellect, musicality. Huh. Well, it'll be a blast at the site karaoke night. And the devil trigger. Okay. Long story short, too late. Thaumiel or Archon? I mean, I'm glad. I don't like the fact that they destroy anomalies, because then we can't contain and research them. So I'm not going with Thaumiel or Archon, I believe. I think should not be contained. Nah, we should definitely contain them. I mean, maybe, I guess, they probably stop end of the world anomalies, now that I think about it. Because all games like that end up with end of the world, and these people are averting it. These entities, sorry, they're not people. And so my feeling would be, technically they would either be SCPs or POI. I mean, SCPs because they are demons. They're not actually people. And they would end up Archon rather than Thaumiel, because we don't use them to contain things. That's what Thaumiel means. Archon just means it shouldn't be contained. And if they're out there destroying other anomalies, I guess that's frustrating. Remember that Archon does not mean the SCP is uncontainable. Archon anomalies can be contained. They just shouldn't be. Ticonderogas cannot be contained, and also do not need to be contained. It gets confusing once you leave the base 3 anomaly containment classes. Let me catch up here. Hunter Phil, thank you for donating again. Well, doctor, I must go to rest, but worry not, for I have the peep peep with me. What? What the hell are you? Yes, I'll certainly see you next time you're at the site for not being containedness situations. For sure. Make sure you come back into not to be contained range for not being contained next time. Ugh. Where was I? Manny the M22, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some axle grease on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, can 999 multiply? And if so, can I have one? We have not had 999 multiply in our databases. We had 173 database if you multiply in the database if you want some of that. But if you don't want 173, we don't have any duplicates of 999, unfortunately. Nix, thank you for donating again, just for the good of your own heart. Much appreciated. Robin, thank you for donating again. Now explain what SCP-055 isn't. Dr. Wheeler, lead of Anti-Memetics, wants to talk to you. Theron, this is not your first day. Well, I've worked here for 10 years, so I know it's not my first day. And furthermore, we don't have an 055 on the document list. What are you talking about? Manny, thank you for donating again. Can you adopt 999? I mean, as much as anyone can adopt an anomaly that's in containment and they can't take it home with them, sure. You can claim that you've adopted 999 all you want. It's not going to change the containment procedures. Cool Show, thank you for donating. For your first time to today's stream, be sure to grab yourself some popcorn on your way past the commissary. Do you like SCP-999? He's so cute. I do, in fact, enjoy and am quite amicable to SCP-999. It is a nice little anomalous slime ball who does nice things and makes everyone happy, and no one can get mad at that, as compared to other anomalies we have to contain, which are very frustrating. Silent Follower, thank you for being a member, as well as your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some strudel on your way past the commissary. Sheeny, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member, and just good to see you in general. Make sure to grab yourself a bottle of Italian wine on your way past the commissary. The only thing I've ever seen contain the Sparta twins canonically as being sealed in hell. That said, I'm sure if the SCP Foundation paid Dante enough, he'd be more amiable to turning over demons and devil arms to the SCP. You know, I'm not above bribery. If it's money that's required to make a business relationship happen, maybe we can bribe this guy to be on the Mobile Task Forces. We could do a little better than able. We just have to have the fundage. It depends on what it wants to be paid in. Interesting. Interesting. William, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza on your way past the commissary. I'm stuck in SCP-3008. How do I get out? All right, so this is pretty tough. You know, the exit of 3008 moves. And so if the door is gone, then you're pretty screwed. If the door is still there, you have a limited time to get out before the door moves. But if that door moves, then I hope you enjoy meatballs, because you're going to be stuck there for a while. Is the SCP Foundation technically an SCP? Come on, don't be ridiculous. We are not SCPs as an organization, except for that one document that says we are, but we don't trust that. What about that one dude whose name is like Morse code? Can you say anything about that dude? Well, I mean, if you do, it gets you. We have Memetic shielding up on this stream enough that we can mention it obliquely, but we're not going to risk any kidnappings of staff who might mention it as soon as they walk out. So we treat it like an anti-memetic anomaly just so we have less people lost. Manny, Dr. Sherman, how long has it been since 049 snuck out? So I believe that the last I've heard about 049, their cross-testing with the Mobile Task Force is going quite well. There have not been any breaches in behavior that I should know about. And so right now there's no sneaking out. It's all above board. We traded access to the gender switching stone SCP-113 in return for loyal work for the Mobile Task Force. So as long as that's going well, I have no reason to complain. Jetstream Sam, thank you for all the free info. Well, of course, this is office hours. If I'm not here to teach you guys about the Foundation, how else are you going to learn? I mean, besides religiously reading the SCP Wiki for 10 years, but that's a lot of work. Why don't I just shorten some of it for you? Although I would, in fact, love it if you guys went and investigated the Wiki yourselves, because when you read the full stories, you get a lot more of an understanding. Even short summaries you get on YouTube channels, they shorten things in a way that sometimes you miss the point of the story and the entity at large. So it's good to go to the source. I highly recommend. If you enjoy SCPs, make sure that you go to the source and read it on the SCP Wiki proper, because you're going to find out some things you didn't get from the short summaries. Nix, thank you for donating again. Dante takes cold hard cash, I imagine you mean, for rent, pizza, and Sundays. Anyways, thanks a ton for the insight. I'll add to my notes and keep you posted on my findings. I'm glad to hear I helped out. Much appreciated. And yeah, standard funding. We can requisition that especially if it will help us to contain more anomalies, and maybe the overseers will see fit to give us some more funding in our budget. It could be a win-win for everyone involved if we play our cards right. So while you're working on your documents there, make sure to start the funding appropriation grant. Gabriel, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a cheese dog on your way past the commissary. Hey Doc, Squad 715 reporting in. Had an encounter with 2613, but the paint was white. A lost soul is also reported, and study is underway from the sighting, and chase reports will be documented soon. Wait, what? That's 2613? That's what you had an encounter with? An anomalous event, irregularly occurring in Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, funerary procession. Vehicles are occupied by a variable number of individuals. After the deaths of certain individuals with whom identification is difficult, if not impossible. Often begin before emergency service has been responded to. All individuals fully identified by the foundation of records indicating past service in the U.S. military. Huh. Okay. An anomalous death procession. Okay. Yeah, continue to fill out your reports. It's interesting that you saw one that's not the standard black. And so, yeah, fill out your report and keep us posted on what's going on. I wonder what a change in the color of the anomaly leads to. Protologue, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some cornbread on your way past the commissary. Heads up, Doc. The Ethics Committee is here. Oh. Cool. Nice to see you guys, Ethics Committee. Everything's A-okay here. No problems whatsoever. Don't you worry. Cosmic curiosity. So, Dr. Sherman, what if I'm head researcher turned anomalous? It happened a while ago. I've still been accepted as staff with conditions, of course. But what I count as an it per se. So, if you were classified as an SCP and contained, yes, you would be an it now. But when you are still held on SCP Foundation staff, you are, for ease and comfort of all the staff members involved, still referred to by proper pronouns. He, she, they, other pronouns, etc. It is just a fact that you work for us that you get a little bit of a hypocritical, nicer treatment in order to continue your loyalty with us. So, anomalous staff, get away with it. Robin, thank you for donating again. You do have an 055 site director. You're supposed to be on Class W Nestix. Take them now, or Dr. Marion Wheeler will be visiting you. Interesting. All right, well, we'll wait for that to kick in, and we'll see what's going. Channel of Victor, thank you for donating again. Much appreciated. All right, is that your first one? I've been talking to you. Did you donate before? No, this is your first donation to today's stream. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, Channel of Victor. Make sure to grab yourself a jar of pick on your way past the commissary. Transmission received. This is Beta 7's Captain. Multiple 008-2 instances detected. Epsilon 11 infected with subject Dog Boy. Do not send the wrong unit again. Report back soon. Ah, damn it. Okay, we'll clean it up and we'll sort it out during the next breach. Ah, I guess that was your second, but YouTube didn't tell me that, so thank you for clarifying, Desk. Either way, enjoy the garlic. Paige, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some gelato on your way past the commissary. Hey Doc, now on day 4 of no sleep. Any clue what SCP could be causing this? Can someone be sent out to me to help if an SCP is doing this? So, SCPs that stop you from sleeping are not exactly common. SCP, no sleep. Show me creepypastas, pardon. So it's probably not 966. It's broken, varying wavelengths, feeding on. Can't make 966. So yes. It actually might be 966. That would not be good for you. You should find a safe room if it's a 966 instance. Yep, dab on the database, Desk. Dab on the database. And any others? Nope, 3060 does not do that. All right, well, likelihood is 966, although it could be the Dado. It could be the Dado energy drink. Did you have any funny energy beverages recently? Because you might be under the influence of Dado juice. Dado juice, SCP-3238, also might cause problems. Additional note from Gabriel. Thank you for donating again. Suspect was chased before it escaped the unit's site. Decon was used. It was an odd event to see it alone. Audio log will be made soon. Interesting. Okay. I look forward to reading your log, or listening to your log, I guess, and getting the update on what's going on over there. Unknown. How can I write an SCP story? Well, it's all about your writing practice. The hardest thing about the SCP Wiki is the longer it's around, the more stories there are. And it's not as if you can't write about the same thing as someone else's story, but you've got to make it interesting enough that we can have 2 of the same thing, and it still counts. For instance, SCP-173 is a statue that can't move if you look at it. And if you blink, it will break your neck and you will be dead. There's another SCP, the Startling Statue. The Startling Statue, I forget the document number. 650. And 650 is another statue that if you look at it, it doesn't move. But then when you don't look at 650, the Startling Statue, it just appears behind you in a spooky position so that when you turn around, it scares you. So 173, gonna murk you. 650, happy little prank guy. So it's basically the same anomaly with different results. So you can write about anything, even if it's already on the wiki. It just has to be a different enough story that it is suitable. And so that's the first thing, is get an idea, make sure you want to write it, and the hardest part is actually writing it, because the idea phase is everything. You can make ideas all day long. I can make ideas all day long, but it's the sitting down and writing the thing that takes a lot of work, and that's where most people falter. So practice your writing. Get to work on it. Read the guides on the SCP Wiki in the database and learn what you can to make it better. Cerberus, Doctor, shouldn't we use SCP-914 to make our weapons and equipment better and more useful for containing SCPs and protecting civilians and staff instead of putting them at risk with our current weapons? Unfortunately, it is a slow process going through 914 repeatedly, and you don't always get the same thing when you put it in there. So sometimes you'll get something that's useful, sometimes you'll get something that's not useful. That's not necessarily helpful. And so it's a bit of a gamble putting things through there, and it's just not efficient. And so there are other ways we upgrade our weapons using anomalies that are not so unpredictable and slow. That's why we don't do it that way. Wiki Sans, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a hot cat on your way past the commissary. Well, hello, Doctor. Well, hello. Site42 staff, we are currently at the 2-hour mark for today's stream, and I have got some work that's got to get done, so I will be leaving the chat in about 12 minutes. So office hours are coming to a short close, so get your last questions in. Okay. Lonely boy. Dr. Sherman, does the Black Moon howl? No. Not without blood. Unboiled salt. Fake doctor. Hey, just because I got a couple extra doctorates from the Foundation's specific college and education system, which, you know, once you join the Foundation, you can't go back to public school. And so you have to go through our accreditation program. And some might say that the standards are a little lax because when you don't have any other choices, the Foundation can just teach you whatever they want. It's not like you can get a second opinion. So, yes. Are some of my doctorates from the Foundation proper? Yes. Does that make them fake? I'm going to say maybe. Robin, thank you for donating again. Ever heard of 3125, a potent anti-meme? Well, with the Nestics kicking in, I may or may not remember something in the near future. How many types of amnestics are there? Well, G12, let me check the database and see if I can get a solid number. Updated amnestics guide. This seems promising. Class A for erasing recent or specific episodic memories. Class B for incremental erasure of recent memories. Class C for removal of specific memories from any point in the subject's life. Class D for removal of early memories. Class E to induce psychological complacency with the anomalous. Class F for erasing and rebuilding the subject's identity. Class G, to cause subjects to doubt the authenticity of their memories. I should just be saying the titles here, because Class A is general retrograde. Class B is regressive retrograde. Class C is targeted retrograde. Class D is progressive retrograde. Class E is ennui. Class F is fugue. Class G is gaslighting. Class H, anterograde, to prevent the formation of new memories. Class I, transient, for inducing a temporary amnesic state. And then Class Z through W. I said that backwards. Class W through Z are all mnestics. So everything between I and W are blank, at least in most canon universes, meaning that, what is that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. 9 grades of amnestic, and W, X, Y, Z, 4 kinds of mnestic. You can check out the updated amnestics guide on the database if you want more specifics about the kind of amnestics we work with here at the Foundation. Violet, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as making sure to grab yourself a hot cup of joe on your way past the commissary. The coffee. Crazy how God gave you everything but my number. Well, don't worry. Anomalies like you are easily contained. I don't need your number for that. We know where to find you. Sheeny, thank you for donating again. I don't know if there would be any plans for Devil May Cry X is not an SCP vid or how much you know about the series, but I've been a fan of DMC for some time, willing to share lore if needed. Well, I have been trying to expand that series, and the problem is I don't have I only have so much fandom knowledge. So if I need lore masters to branch out, there will be a post about it. We will see if I can bring on a team to help me write some things that I don't know about. Nix, thank you for donating again. Is it okay if I call you Sherm? The SCP Archives podcast, a reliable source to learn everything, or do they leave things out for brevity's sake? So, yeah, I can be Sherm for short. That's not offensive. And, the SCP Archive podcast. I believe I've worked with them before. I believe I know who we're talking about. Yeah, SCP Archives is pretty thorough in their readings of SCP documents. Let's see. We've got all episodes. It's a shame there is no episode count or episode list here. That would be convenient. So I don't know how many documents they've covered, but in my working with them, they seem to be very thorough on the documents they cover. Therefore, I would not fret getting my information from them. I believe, last I heard, they were doing pretty thorough documentations. So I don't believe you'll be missing much. Wiki Sans, thank you for donating again. Are you all still trying to contain me? Well, are you a walking skeleton with strange powers? Yes! Of course we're trying to contain Skelebros. It's just good policy. SCP-049, whoever is in the chat, you are saying has pestilence. They don't have pestilence. Ignore it, be good, or we revoke your privileges. You're walking the line here, be careful. Does the SCP Foundation pay taxes? Nabil, that's a great question. It's a policy we have to deal with every once in a while. So, the Greater Foundation does not pay taxes because we are a secret organization. We are not licensed with the government. but we do pay taxes in the form of our front companies. Because if you want to run a front company for longer than a year, you're going to have to pay taxes as if you are a legitimate business. So that's just cost of doing business for the foundation, but we do not pay taxes in general because we don't need to. And with that, we are in the last 3 minutes of stream, which means I'm going to start wrapping up. So, in case you didn't know, at the end of stream, I always tell you my favorite SCPs. Now, I'm not going to list my SCPs that are my favorite, that I've written, because those are, of course, my favorite, and that's cheating. They're like my children. I'm not going to tell you my SCPs. But if you want to read my SCPs that I have written, you can go to my SCP author page and check out the SCPs I've written. I've written 7 or 8 for the wiki, as well as contributing some sounds to some other ones. So you can go check that out at any point you want. And while you're there, there's some support links to becoming a Site42 patron and or channel member or Ko-Fi for a one-time donation, or the merch shops, all that stuff. However you want to support Site42, all of it we appreciate because you're helping us to make bigger and better SCP content, to assist other SCP creators in making SCP films and games, until we're big enough like Markiplier and MatPat to make our own films and games and stage shows and all that business. We are climbing the tree, following in the footsteps of giants, and we will succeed. No, not actual giants, those are anomalous, but not the ones we're following. So, last 2 donations that came in before I started up. Slayers, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go grab some chai on your way past the commissary. Doctor, can SCP-939 shake it? It is a dog. I don't know what you mean. They are not known for shaking it. I mean, unless you get them wet and then they shake like that. If that's what you mean, then sure, probably. Littleman, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a delicious water sausage on your way past the commissary. What is your favorite SCP and most hated SCP? Well, I'm about to list my favorites, but before I do, just know I don't have a most hated SCP. It's just not the way I roll. I tend to be a very positive person. Even if I don't like an article on the site, personal taste-wise, if I can tell it's well written and it makes sense and other people like it, I'll still upvote it. That's cool. Don't yuck other people's yum unless it's like objectively bad writing, which usually doesn't land on the SCP Wiki because of our quality standards. So that's just not the way I mean, okay. Hen eats drywall. You're right. I was wrong. 729-J. We'll say that's the one I hate the most. We'll say that's the one I hate the most. Great answer. You all win. So with that, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and with a huge content warning, SCP-8980. That one is rough. But one more time through them real quick, 3999-3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980 with a huge content warning. I hope you guys have learned a lot about the SCP Foundation today. I have enjoyed chatting with you guys and educating you. Littleman, thank you for donating one more time right before the end of stream. Oh, what was that? Oh. What? No. That's not possible. Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to clean up that mess. Oh, thank Oh, thank the Lord. I saw an alert that SCP-729- you know which one I mean, was taken from containment site, was out in the wild. I was very worried about that, but it's not. It is not that one. It is not that one. It is 724-J. 724-J, which is the bad roach. I almost had a freaking heart attack. Bad roach will be back in its cell shortly. Disgusting. Hate that. Go enjoy SCP-724-J. That is a nice, wholesome anomaly that does not horrify anybody. Go enjoy 724-J. Also, Desk is alerting me that twitch.tv/Gears Presents is the one, the only Dr. Gears, the creator of Dr. Gears on the SCP Wiki, the real life Dr. Gears, is currently streaming D&D on Twitch. And so if you want to go see Dr. Gears and say hello, because Dr. Gears is a cool guy, that a little drab, a little boring, but you know, Dr. Gears, then please raid that Twitch stream with the message, Dr. Sherman sends his regards. Let's go give Dr. Gears a good time. Drab Ministor, thank you for one more donation as I recover from my heart attack. I may or may not have last 096, don't ask how. That is honestly so much less worrying than what I thought was going on. So, yes, go to Dr. Gear. It's Gears Presents, is that right? They literally just now ended. No! No, Desk! Dang it! We'll follow Gears Presents and tell him I sent you when you get there. Ay, caramba. Of course he did that, just to spite me. I'll watch out for the next time he's streaming. Dr. Gears will not get away with this. With that, I will see you all in the next stream. Be safe, be well, and secure, contain, protect. Do you really wanna taste it? Down, 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 down. Down and down, 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 down. Down and down, 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 down. Get it on, make a move extreme, make a post. It's a shortcut to your dreams. Float straight to the stars on that flying thing. Getting high, getting brave, getting snowblind. Gonna set gut tune, shake a harpoon, the world beyond. Get a beat, get a heat on a phone, it tear your world apart. Once the magic starts, do you really wanna taste it? What's going up must come down. Do you really wanna taste it? Baby, I'm losing ground, blind to what you soon become. The mere lies, the whole world's wrong, but you dancing with your blinkers on. Throw your dog the invisible bone.